My name is Ethan Moore, 26 years old, junior architect at a mid-sized design firm downtown. I design clean lines, glass walls, and corporate spaces that look impressive but feel empty. My life, on the outside, is just as neat. Stable job, rented apartment, predictable routine, and a girlfriend everyone says I'm lucky to have. Isabella. We've been together for almost 2 years. She's confident in ways I've never been. Loud laughter, bold opinions, the kind of woman who walks into a room and makes it hers. She works in event planning, thrives on chaos and deadlines, and loves challenges. Especially bets. Which is how this whole mess started. It was supposed to be harmless. A Friday night. Pizza boxes on the coffee table. The cards in our hands. Music playing low in the background. We'd invited over 2 friends, Marcus and Leo, for our regular poker night. No real money, just drinks and bragging rights. But Isabella had that look in her eye. The one that meant she was bored and wanted to stir trouble. "Let's make it interesting," she said, shuffling the deck with dramatic flair. Marcus groaned. Last time interesting meant I had to wear a maid apron. She smiled sweetly. Exactly. I should have paid attention to that smile. The bet escalated slowly. First round. Loser cleans the kitchen. Second. Loser buys drinks next time. By the 4th round, Isabella leaned across the table, resting her chin in her palm. "New rule," she said. "Final loser has to follow a challenge for 1 week." Leo raised an eyebrow. "Define challenge." She looked straight at me. That should have been my warning. "You dress as a girl for a week." The room went quiet. I laughed first. Not because it was funny, because it felt unreal. "You're joking." "I'm not," she said. Full commitment. Clothes. Presentation. No backing out. Marcus nearly choked on a soda. Leo looked uncomfortable. I felt heat rush to my face. I wasn't a crossdresser. Not publicly. Not openly. Not in any way that involved other people knowing. But there was something Isabella didn't know. Something I had never told anyone. Hidden in the back of my closet, behind winter coats and shoe boxes, were things I'd bought late at night with my heart pounding. A soft sweater, a skirt, a pair of cheap heels, and one dark wig I never had the courage to wear outside my bedroom. It wasn't about attraction. It wasn't about performance. It was about quiet. About looking in the mirror and seeing something unfamiliar but honest. I told myself it was curiosity. Stress relief. A phase. Something I'd stop when life became more serious. And then Isabella turned it into a joke. "No way," I said quickly. "Pick something else." She tilted her head. "Why? You scared?" "Yes," I admitted. "Of looking ridiculous." "Then don't lose." The cards were already in my hands. That's the cruel thing about bets. They don't care about your secrets. We played. I tried to focus, but my thoughts kept drifting. What if I lost? What would that even look like? Would Isabella laugh? Would she push it like a prank? Would she think it was funny? I folded badly. Missed tells. Took risks I shouldn't have. By midnight, it came down to me and Leo. Final hand. I had nothing. The room erupted in laughter when the cards hit the table. Isabella stood up dramatically and clapped. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have our loser." My stomach dropped. Marcus tried to lighten it. "You can still back out, man." Isabella shook her head. "A bet's a bet." She looked at me, not teasing now. Curious. "You okay with this?" she asked. That question mattered more than the joke. I swallowed. "It's just clothes, right?" "Just clothes," she said. The others left soon after, still laughing about it. The apartment went quiet again. The pizza boxes were still on the table. The cards still scattered like evidence. I sat on the couch, staring at the floor. "So," Isabella said softly, sitting beside me, "we start tomorrow?" I nodded. Inside, something was unraveling. She thought it was a punishment. I knew it wasn't that simple. Because this wasn't just about losing a game. This was about stepping into something I had always hidden. That night, after she fell asleep, I opened my closet and pulled out the box I'd buried. I laid the clothes on the bed, like they were fragile. A skirt. A sweater.
The wig.
I touched the fabric and felt my chest tighten. This wasn't a fantasy. This wasn't a joke. In the morning, I would have to explain. Not to strangers. Not to friends. To her. And worse, I would have to do it in front of her. The bet wasn't just about dressing differently. It was about revealing something I didn't have words for yet. And the week hadn't even begun that I woke up the next morning with a mix of dread and something else. Excitement? Curiosity? Embarrassment? All at once. The apartment was quiet. Isabella already gone to work, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the box of clothes that now felt heavier than ever. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at it, as if it could explain itself. Okay, I whispered to myself, you can do this. I took a deep breath and opened it fully. The skirt was softer than I remembered, the sweater lightweight, the wig slightly tangled but manageable. Even the heels, the heels looked more intimidating in the daylight than they had at night. I knew I wasn't doing this for Isabella's amusement alone. Something in me had always wanted this, had always been curious, had always imagined it, but never dared. Now, the bet forced the question, who am I when no one else is looking? Small blue diamond first step. Choosing the outfit. I started with the basics. The skirt was black and pleated, modest but feminine. I held it against myself in the mirror. My reflection looked wrong.
And right.
It made my chest feel tight, not from constriction, but from anticipation. I'd never seen myself this way. The weekends? Next came the sweater. Soft pink, slightly oversized, hugging just enough to suggest rather than declare. I slipped it over my head, feeling the fabric brush against my skin. Goosebumps. A thrill. Vulnerability. Then came the wig. I had spent weeks learning how to brush it without tangling, how to fit it snugly, how to make it believable. Sliding it on, I barely recognized myself. The hair framed my face, softened my jawline, and for a split second, I almost smiled. And finally, the heels. I had never walked in heels outside of practice sessions at home, but now I had no choice. Slipping them on, I felt a strange shift. Taller, more aware, more exposed. My balance was off. My posture was different. I felt noticed, even though I was alone. The mirror didn't lie. I was someone else. And yet, I was still me. Small blue diamond, internal conflict, shame versus thrill. I stared at my reflection for what felt like hours. My mind raced. Isabella is going to laugh. She's going to love this. I look ridiculous. I look good? My chest tightened. A mix of fear and exhilaration. I had imagined cross-dressing alone, in secret, hidden behind a locked door. But now, the bet meant accountability. Publicly, even if only for Isabella. Part of me wanted to run, strip off the clothes, hide them, and pretend the bet never existed. But another part, stronger than I expected, thrilled at the challenge. I walked across the apartment in the heels, wobbly but determined. I practiced small gestures, crossing my legs, holding my hands delicately, tilting my head just so. The reflection in the mirror was transforming. I was transforming. The hardest part wasn't the clothes. It was the vulnerability, the feeling that I was no longer invisible. And that scared me more than the thought of being seen by anyone else. Small blue diamond the first day alone. I decided to try living as myself, Ethan, but with the outfit on for the morning. I went to the kitchen for breakfast. The cabinets looked different somehow. The sunlight hitting the countertops seemed brighter. I moved carefully, conscious of how I felt in the heels, aware of how every step sounded louder than usual. And then I caught sight of myself in the window reflection. I froze. This was me, but not me. A stranger looking back, familiar and strange at the same time. My heartbeat picked up. A laugh escaped my lips, a mixture of amusement and embarrassment. Was this what Isabella wanted? Did she know how much it would stir inside me? I spent the morning experimenting. Sitting, standing, adjusting the wig, feeling the fabric of the skirt against my thighs. Every touch reminded me that this wasn't just about a bet. It was about exploration, about seeing myself through a lens I'd never dared to use before. Small blue diamond suspense begins. Fear of being caught. The real tension came when I heard footsteps outside the apartment.
My heart jumped.
Was it Isabella? No, that was too early. But someone could see me. Someone could notice. Every sound, elevator doors, neighbors moving, car horns, felt amplified. My body tensed. The thrill of transformation mingled with the fear of discovery. I realized this bet wasn't just about wearing clothes. It was about navigating the world as someone else, even if only temporarily. Small blue diamond, emotional vulnerability. By midday, I sat on the couch, hugging my knees. I looked down at the outfit, at the heels, at the wig. For the first time, I allowed myself to feel shame for hiding this side of myself, anxiety over what Isabella would think, curiosity for what I might learn about myself. I touched my hair, adjusted the skirt, and let a small smile slip. I didn't want anyone to see it. It felt private, personal, precious. Small blue diamond practicing persona. The next challenge was voice and mannerisms. I had to move and speak like someone else, like the version of me Isabella had imagined for the bet. I practiced in front of the mirror, softening my voice, tilting my chin, walking with a sway that felt unnatural yet liberating. Every attempt made me more conscious of my body. I noticed details I'd never cared about before. How my shoulders sloped, how my hands rested, how my legs crossed. The mirror didn't just reflect an outfit. It reflected a possible self. And with every adjustment, I felt a strange mix of shame, excitement, and empowerment. Small blue diamond first real challenge. Leaving the apartment. By the second day, I realized I couldn't hide inside forever. The bet required living normally, going out, interacting, all while maintaining the persona. I tried walking to the corner store. Each step in the heels was a test. Each glance from passers-by felt like a challenge. My stomach churned with adrenaline. A neighbor, an older man I'd never spoken to, paused at the doorway. I smiled nervously. He nodded and moved on. Relief washed over me. I returned home, shaky but exhilarated. I could do this. I could survive. But I also knew one misstep, one loud laugh from the wrong person, one accidental reflection in a shop window, and my secret could be exposed. Small blue diamond psychological shifts. By midweek, the changes weren't just physical. My mind had shifted too. I found myself thinking differently about attention, about how people perceived me, about the thrill of inhabiting a body that felt both familiar and strange. I laughed more at myself. I hesitated less. I moved differently. The skirt, the sweater, the wig, they weren't just clothing anymore. They were tools, symbols of a side of me that had always existed but had never seen the light. And yet, fear lingered. The thrill of transformation was inseparable from the anxiety of exposure. Small blue diamond tension peaks. Isabella could return anytime. The suspense was constant. Every noise made me tense. Every unexpected knock on the door made my pulse race. By day 4, I was pacing around the apartment, practicing my persona, adjusting my wig, rehearsing how I'd answer the door. What if Isabella came home early? What if she walked in while I was still dressed? What if she realized this was more than a bet to me? The combination of fear and excitement became addictive. I found myself looking forward to moments of danger, secretly hoping for close calls that would make the experience more intense. By now, the bet wasn't just a punishment. It was a self-imposed challenge. And somewhere, buried deep, I started to wonder, what happens if I don't stop after?